Howdy, Brazos Valley. Welcome to the latest real estate market update, your go-to source for the latest trends and stats in the Bryan-College Station housing market and beyond. I'm Hayden Riley, a licensed broker associate with Inhabit Real Estate Group, and whether you're buying, selling, or just keeping an eye on the market, I've got you covered. Today, we'll dive into the numbers from last month, straight from the Bryan-College Station MLS, the Texas Association of Realtors, and the Texas Real Estate Center. From sales volume to median home prices, we'll break it all down to help you make an informed decision based on this dynamic market. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe a pen and a paper, and let's see how this market's shaping up. Trust me, there are some interesting trends you won't want to miss. You ready? Let's jump in. Okay, y'all. February 26th. So we are looking at January's numbers. We're going to go ahead and get started with average days on market. Now, this time, just keep in mind, it's going to be a little harder to see because we're starting all over this year. Instead of having a line to look at, we're looking at a dot. So this year, it looks like the dot's kind of a pinkish, purplish color there at the top left-hand corner. And we are sitting at 119 as far as average days on market. For January, at least over the last 6 years, that's pretty high. It's pretty high. But we've definitely seen some more activity since the end of December, beginning of January. So we'll see whether or not that's going to knock it down. Next, we're looking at units sold. This time it's pink. I'm not sure why we have the difference in color, but there you are. And it's kind of middle of the pack at 195 units sold. In other words, closed transactions. So we're starting off the year definitely in line with what we are used to seeing, at least over the last 6 years. Not too much of a difference there. And once again, middle of the pack for new listings as well. 467 new listings. We're going to go ahead and compare that. We're going to go one slide back again to look at new units sold, which is 195. So that's a big difference in new listings taken. That said, we are growing in inventory, but for this part of the year, that's not unusual. So we'll continue to keep our eyeballs on that. Next, looking at the College Station Bryan housing report, just the two cities, not the surrounding counties here. The median price point at $312,420, which is actually down 3.9% compared to January of 2025. Our active listings are up 19.2%, and our days on market pretty close to the full area days on market at 112, just 7 less than that. So definitely more active here than it would be in the surrounding counties. The January 2026 price distribution, a little bit different here. 200 to 300 and 300 to 400,000 are our top categories. The 4 to 500 has kind of dropped off, as has the 1 to 200,000, but we'll see whether or not that changes. But usually we're used to seeing that top category being either the 200 to 300,000 or the 3 to 400,000. The closed sales up 11.5%. So we've definitely seen more closed sales in January compared to last January. Months of inventory, 4.6%. So that has definitely increased compared to January of last year. Once again, those of you who are, once again, for those of you who've seen this before, but for those who have not, the months of inventory is another method for determining what kind of activity we're seeing. And it comes when we ask the question, if we sold the same number of properties for the month of January over and over again without adding any new listings, how many months would it take us to deplete our inventory? And the answer is 4.6 months. Next, we're looking at the weekly market activity. This is information pulled straight from the MLS, where I'm looking at how many properties went under contract in a week compared to the active listings, just to kind of give us an idea of activity level prior to actual selling. Now we're watching the yellow line this year, and we're at 108. Last week we were at 108 properties that went under contract that week out of 1,632 active listings. So that means that 6.6% of our inventory went under contract. So this is actually a pretty high number. We've seen that this past week, and the previous week, which we've kind of been hovering in more the 4 to 5% range up to this point since, I'd say, late November. So maybe our market is waking up a little bit. Hopefully that is a good indicator, but we'll keep our eyes on things. And that's a wrap on this month's Brazos Valley Real Estate Market Update. Thanks so much for tuning in and staying informed about our ever-evolving market. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Your support helps us reach more people just like you who want to stay on top of the real estate trends that matter. As always, if you're looking to buy, sell, or have any questions about the real estate market, I'm just a call or message away. Until next time, stay tuned, stay informed, and take care, Brazos Valley. I'll see you in the next update.